Whatever expectations I had for this episode, it was better. Hello, my name is Joe and I review TV shows and movies online. Well, in this channel, I'm currently reviewing Severance, Prime Target. We'll be talking about Yellow Jackets and The White Lotus here on the channel. And if you want a little extra, I have a Patreon where for now I already reviewed On Call and I'm going to be reviewing weekly Paradise. So join. I get pretty intense on my reviews, so if you like someone passionate about this kind of stuff, well, obsessed, really, this is the place to come. Prime Target Episode 3. Listen, guys, the first thing I'm gonna mention is I feel like the people behind Silo and the people behind Prime Target had a little chat. They had a little tete-a-tete because the people behind Silo really said, you know, guys, we're going to do a slow season. Good. But slow burn, so you better pick up the pace because the people are going to be needing something more fast. More fast? Oh my god. English is my second language. They're going to be needing something faster. And fast it is. Prime Target Episode 3 already solves and puts to rest certain questions and aspects that were picked up in the first 2 episodes and starts new ones. The first thing that I was really happy about is that the main girl and the main guy, Ed and Taylor, already meet. They met. Not only did they meet, they went on an adventure together, they were chased together, things are going. I'm so happy about the pace of this episode because I did enjoy the slowness of Silo, but I needed it. And they already introduced this, they met, and they're being chased. They're being actively chased by some bad organization. And secondly, they already showed us what happened in the 90s. What happened 30 years ago in 1994 with Safiya, because that was one of the big questions from the first 2 episodes. And they've done it. They showed it to us, they've answered the questions, they've done it. And we're moving on to new questions. This is great, guys. I really enjoyed this aspect of the show. But yeah, let's review what happened and the information that we have so far, or that we think we have so far. First of all, one of the first things I thought about this episode was in the flashbacks. First of all, what a freak Safiya's roommate was, in a good sense, guys, in a good sense. I like freaks. Anyway, when Safiya told her that she broke up with, what's his name? The Mandalorian? Mandy. I'm gonna call him Mandy because I don't remember his name. When Safiya told her roommate that she broke up with Mandy, or Mandy broke up with her, or something like that, she said it was because of them prime numbers. It was because she was researching that and he didn't agree. He didn't think it was a worthwhile field. And I think in the show it is implied that we should assume that the reason he didn't like her studying those numbers is because he thought it was beneath her. He thought it was very experimental subject. But I don't think that's what it is. I think, and this is one of my delusional theory coming, I think that he was some kind of spy or working for this evil organization that is offing people and running after Ed to steal his notes, well, Safiya's notes. I think he was already working for them back then. Come on, guys. Isn't it plausible that this dude was a spy within the academics doing for the secret organization what the NSA does, spying on them, checking if someone is doing that kind of work? I think that's what it is. And I think that's why she ended up ending her life, because he told on her. And when it happened again in the present moment, he thought, I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want to tell on him and be responsible for offing another person that I care about. So he destroyed all of his research to try to spare him from it. But yeah, I think he might be a spy, or he might be a double agent working for this evil, dark organization, whoever they are. And stay with me because I will be reviewing all of the players that I think are involved in all of this. But yeah, from the flashbacks, and also the present moment, we also find out that Safiya left a coded message for someone to find out, and Ed did find out. Well, Ed and Tyler, let's be honest, Baby Girl helped. And she left the library reference to a book called The Unsolved Riddle, One Woman's Quest to Crack the Ancient Enigma. So this must have been another person in the past who was trying to solve the same thing that they are trying to solve, the hidden pattern in prime numbers. And in this letter, she explains why she took her own life, that she was being surrounded by this dark energy. She was probably being spied on. She was probably offered the same thing that Ed was offered from the Kepler Institute. And, well, we see her in the top. Okay, we have the image of her in the top, so we have to assume that she did it. But in my mind, because guys, if you watched my previous video, you know that I think she didn't do it, and you know that I think she's still alive and behind the people who blew out the temple in Baghdad. I said Iran last time, but no, Iraq. And I think she's still alive. Like, I don't know how she did it. I don't even know if this is possible. I guess this is going to be one of my delusional theories. But I think she's still alive, and I think she is not behind. I think she's collaborating with the people, either collaborating or being forced to collaborate with the people that blew out the street in Baghdad and uncovered the secret temple, which we now know could be the ancient House of Wisdom. Come on, is that not cool? That's so cool. Anyway, along with the explanation of why she offed herself, she also left the abstract of her thesis, of her dissertation. And it's the same thing that Ed is working on, and it's the same thing that they might have been working on 900 years ago in the House of Wisdom, and it's probably the same thing that this girl from the book, The Unsolved Riddle, was working on. The pattern, the even pattern in the damn prime numbers. And along with the letter and the abstract, he finds a ripped out page from a publicity booklet about the Kepler Institute. Now, the Kepler Institute is one of the players in this entire big ass game because it has been mentioned so many times, and it's involved in this prime number theory all the way since the 90s, probably since before then. And the Kepler Institute is an institute in Cambridge funded by private funds, money, basically funded by a bunch of rich ass people. And I think it's easy to assume, because the character himself assumes that the Kepler Institute are the ones following him and stalking him, and were the ones following the professor and stalking the professor. I don't think that's true. I think because Kepler Institute, clearly, by the way that they say that they are privately funded, clearly they want to find this hidden pattern in prime numbers because it will make them a lot of money for their stakeholders. They're going to create interest for the stakeholders. That's the direction I feel like it's going. The Kepler Institute is like the private interests of the rich, being involved in this whole game of the hidden pattern in prime numbers. Because if they want to support Ed's research into this, if they wanted to support Safiya's research into this, then why would they steal it from him? Why would they make the professor destroy his research if they want it, you know? It doesn't make sense. I don't feel like the Kepler Institute are the ones who are, maybe they are one of the organizations that is stalking him, but the most that I would see them doing is having a hand in the bartender, because that was a theory from one of my commenters in my last video, that the bartender is working for the bad organization. I don't think he would be working for the organization that goes around offing people, but I think he could be working for the Kepler Institute, because I don't think those are the same organizations. And when Ed mentions to the bartender the Kepler Institute, the bartender is very positive towards it and is encouraging Ed to accept the offer. So to me, it would make sense that the bartender is working for or being paid by the Kepler Institute to influence Ed. Maybe. But yeah, I don't think they are the ones hurting people. I think they might be stalking Ed, but someone else is as well, apart from the NSA. Another thing we see is the assistant to the professor, the female professor, going to Baghdad and going inside the temple and doing some research, which first of all is exciting, is really exciting. I love like archaeological stuff so much I can't even contain it. But there is conspiracy, there is drama, there is something happening there, and you know what? It's clear, it's so clear that the explosion, the gas leak, was not a gas leak. Of course it wasn't a gas leak. And the engineer that is there making sure that the roof stays like in place, he is conspirating? Conspiring. He is conspiring against the people who are there to defend them. Listen, the professor was invited to Baghdad on behalf of the government, like the people who are studying that place. So I'm assuming that the security is there on behalf of the government. So if there is a hidden plot to uncover more than the archaeological aspects of that place, possibly to uncover the hidden pattern in prime numbers, surely it's coming from the government, from the people who are responsible for the security, from the people who are responsible for inviting the experts into the field. And the engineer is not in on the deal. He's just invited in to like protect everyone and make sure that the structure is stable. So the engineer tells the research assistant, listen, something is iffy. And you know what I loved? I loved the detail of them having this discussion in a gay bar. And the research assistant wasn't aware that this was a conspiracy. He just thought he was being invited on a date. That was cute. But yeah, it wasn't a gas leak. It was on purpose. And the engineer even says that it was detonated, like it was exploded in a perfect place. If it had been an inch to the side, everything would have collapsed. Not to me talking about an explosion and an explosion going on outside. Not a bad explosion. I live close to, I don't know how you call it. You know the place where you get sand from? A stone? A place where you explode stone to get different types of sand and gravel? Whatever. I live close to a place like that. What was I saying? Oh, the explosion. If it had been 1 inch away, everything would have collapsed. And this is what I'm saying. Like, the people who are behind the explosion had to have been planning this for so long. They had to have so much knowledge of how the structure was beneath the city to know exactly where to detonate a bomb and open up a hole in the sky that wouldn't crumble the whole thing down. They had to have been planning that for years. They had to have like experts on their team to know what they're doing. And they had to have known it was there and it contained what it contains. And this is the thing that like makes me question how many players are at play in this game of prime numbers. So let's get to it. First, we have the obvious answer, which is the scholars. Cambridge, the professors, the research assistant, Ed, the people who have a theoretical interest in the prime number stuff. Second, we have the NSA, and we can call them the spies, you know, the people who are trying to figure out what everyone else knows, and they are trying to keep an eye on the possibility that someone will create a dangerous weapon. Third, we have the Kepler Institute, which represents the private interests, the interests of the rich in this kind of technology or discovery. Fourth, I think, are the people behind the explosion. And the reason I think they are not the Kepler Institute, well, they could be. I don't think I have a specific reason why they aren't the Kepler Institute. They could be the Kepler Institute. But for now, I'm going to separate them into two different entities. We have the Kepler Institute and the people behind the explosion. We know that these people have to be knowledgeable about this kind of stuff, and they have to have experts on their team to create an explosion in the exact specific place that they needed. And not only that, to do that, but also to know what would happen afterwards and to know who would be called in to investigate that place and to know how to manipulate them and how to get the information they need out of them. Basically, they would need a lot of resources. So it could be the Kepler Institute, but for now I'm keeping them as separate entities because it's just easier to organize the information that we know so far. Now, I do think that if Safiya is alive, she's probably working with the people who exploded the city, who exploded the top of the dome of the temple. Either she's being coerced, she's being manipulated into it, or she just has a genuine interest and she wants to find out what is hidden there. My thing is that if they're going there to discover the hidden pattern of the prime numbers, they wouldn't need to go there if they had Safiya, because Safiya discovered it, right? That's the point. She discovered it in her thesis. So I don't know if this makes sense, but that's my theory so far. And then we have a fifth player, a fifth organization, and these are the bad guys. These are the guys who are offing people. These are the guys who are stealing stuff. These are the guys who are manipulating the professor into burning Ed's research. And these are the ones who might have made the professor into a spy. They are the bad guys. They are the ones using bad tactics. They are the ones doing anything to keep this research out of the public knowledge. And this is the difference between these guys and everyone else. Because everyone else just seems to want to know, like, what's happening. Like, apart from the NSA, who seem kind of to just want to keep an eye on things, everyone else is just interested in discovering this hidden pattern. Like, they want to know. But this fifth player, this bad organization, seems to want to keep it hidden. It seems like they already know, and they don't want anyone else to know. They want to keep it to themselves. What I feel like this is, guys, delusional theory coming, I feel like, because remember, 900 years ago, potentially, the people who worked in the temple, the House of Wisdom, already had this information about prime numbers, potentially. So what I think this fifth organization is, the bad guys, is like a secret ancient society who was created to keep the secrets of the universe hidden. Because, I don't know, maybe they think it will destroy the world, maybe they think people aren't ready to know all of this stuff, whatever reason they have. I think the fifth players, the bad guys, are a secret ancient society, and I cannot wait to see them if they exist. But yeah, these are the 5 players in this whole game that I think are putting pieces together and doing things. And why, you might be asking, why all of this for this hidden pattern in prime numbers? Well, in this show, Taylor kind of says it flat out. She says that the majority of like code written today that keeps like the digital world alive, whether it's like about the healthcare system or banking or whatever it is all managed on like combinations of prime numbers. They do it on the assumption that these combinations are random, that there's no hidden pattern in prime numbers, that there's no way to figure out how to make sense of these random combinations of prime numbers. Basically, the fact that they don't have this pattern means that everything they use these prime number combinations for is like a lock. But if they have the pattern for the prime numbers, it's like a key that unlocks everything, like in the digital system that runs the world. And this is the interest, right? Because if there's big private organizations, if there are governments involved in this, if there are like secret agencies involved in this, there has to be money in it. I'm so sorry if you can hear the rain. It's raining pretty hard. Let's hope you can't. But yeah, there has to be a lot of money in it. That's why they're all interested in it. Well, not all of them, because the fifth guys, the bad guys, they just seem to want to keep it hidden. And maybe it's because they already control the hidden pattern. They already are making money off of it, and they don't want anyone else to make it. And this is why I love Ed as a character, because when Taylor explains to him why the hidden pattern in prime numbers is dangerous, that everyone could unlock any kind of information in the digital world, Ed is like, so what? So what if they do that? So what? Because, and this is the thing about Ed's character that I love is the fact that he is willing to question the rules of society if he thinks the rules of society are shit and make no sense. And I mean, this is the question, right? If such a thing exists that would immediately set our entire system into chaos, if people are dying for it and there's a lot of players doing a bunch of bad things to keep it hidden, because this one thing could turn the whole system into chaos, is it even a good system? If there's this one little thing that many people almost figured out that could ruin the whole system, shouldn't the system just be different? Shouldn't we just use the advantages of the natural occurring things like numbers and the natural occurring things like smart brains? Shouldn't we just use this as an advantage to build a better society? I love Ed. Love him. And that's it for this episode. Guys, it was so organized. I mean, I feel like it was organized. I feel like compared to my last video about this show, this was very organized. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Check out my other reviews. Check out my Patreon. And yeah, join. Let's have fun together. Oh my god, I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, see you tomorrow with Severance. Bye bye. Oh, and by the way, I'm putting out a movie recommendation list for Valentine's Day. It's not what you think. It's a lot worse than you think. And it's gonna be so much fun. Keep your eyes open.